Hey guys, this is Kim. Today I'll be doing a tarot deck review, and this is one of the decks that I've been meaning to film and share with you guys. And I haven't done a tarot deck review for like a long time, so I thought I would get back to it. The deck I'll be showing you today is from Taiwan. It's done by a Taiwanese artist. The name of the deck in Chinese is called 宝灵星塔罗解惑故事牌, and if you translate that, it literally means 宝灵's heart tarot. Solve your problems or solve your confusion story card, story tarot. I've personally just been calling it the story tarot just because it definitely makes sense. This deck is really rich in story details, very fairytalesque, very gorgeous. But yeah, it doesn't really have a really punchy or flashy or just like a proper tarot deck name. I don't think the author really named it. But yeah, I kind of just call it a story tarot. I'll try to find if there's like a translation in English later to see if it has a proper name. But yeah, meanwhile, I'll just be showing you the box, and I'll just give you like a glimpse of the guidebook. Won't spend too much time talking about it because everything's written in Chinese. So, and then I'll be showing you the cards. I'll show you the major arcana cards, and then I'll walk you through the four suits, and then I'm gonna just go through some details like artwork, characters, and theme, and the story world, stuff like that, and also talking about the symbolism and the process of interpretation, and yeah, so that's the overview. Okay, so as you can see, this is the box. That's the front, that's the spine, and that is the back with like little previews of cards. And this is very easy for storing because you can kind of just slide the box open. The box is very durable, it's very awesome, and this is the guidebook. One thing I do appreciate about the guidebook is that with each card it comes with a little anecdote, a little story taken from the Greek mythology or folklore from, I think there's some Asian folklores in there. I think it's mostly European though. But yeah, so that's something that I really like. But another thing that I don't like is that some stories have nothing to do with the card that it's associated with. So yeah, that's the guidebook, just to give you like a look. It's nice and thick, or compared to like a regular little white book. So it's nice and detailed. It has like different categories like love, career, the major stuff, the major categories that people tend to care about. And then that is the back of the card, and it's just super gorgeous. It has this like children's storybook feeling, and the colors are kind of muted, like it's not really modernly vibrant, but it's still really colorful, if you know what I mean. And yeah, you can definitely see a lot of fairy tale symbols in there, like intricate patterns, vines, roses, stars, suns, stuff like that. So lots of fairy tale symbols. And that's the back of the deck. Alright, so first I'll be showing you the major arcana cards, and it's slightly out of order, but it's mostly in order. But yeah, mostly I'll just be talking about the artwork of this deck. So overall, I feel like the character design is just really great. That's the Fool, and that's the Hierophant. The artwork definitely has a lot of shoujo anime influences. It looks like characters from a manga or anime. And it's, in terms of like fashion, what the characters wear, it's very Victorian, Edwardian. If you know the term Lolita, that's kind of what the fashion style reminds me of. And it definitely has a lot of Asian influences as well, because there was this one card and it basically depicts the Chinese New Year. I think it was the Eight of Pentacles. But yeah, so it has like, it's kind of like a fusion of European and Asian elements, so I find that really refreshing. And yeah, overall the tone of the art, like I really like the characters in this deck. All the characters sort of had this really moody, really self-absorbed type of feeling, and it's just something that I really enjoy for some reason. And yeah, that's the major arcana deck. And yeah, it definitely has that sort of children's storybook literary feeling. Yeah, I don't know, the colors just really remind me of that, so I don't know if you have the same feeling, but yeah, definitely kind of comes across that way to me. And as you can see, it's a Rider-Waite inspired deck, so most of the symbolism follows the Rider-Waite. So in that sense, the major arcana is perfectly functional. But some of the minor arcana cards, I will talk about symbolism in a sec. Some of the symbolism is just very strange in this deck. Like, honestly, my intuition just gets jammed every time I look at those cards, and maybe you guys can help me out. I'll be showing those cards in a sec. And you can sort of figure out what they are, and so you can see like a reference that I don't see, because honestly, like, those cards give me a headache, and this is one of the reasons why I don't read with this deck, is because the symbolism in some of the cards are just completely unworkable. Okay, so here's the minor arcana, And some of the cards would be missing because I picked them out. Since I will be showing them to you later, I want to do some individual highlights and use them to talk about characterizations and symbolism and stuff like that. But let's start off with the Suit of Swords. So it's very interesting. It has this black and white, really goth-like, really angsty type of art style. So this is evident in all the minor arcana, not the goth style, but the fact that every suit has like a distinct feeling, distinct art style. So that is the minor arcana ace, from the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords. Like I said, one card is missing. The Ten of Swords is missing because I want to show you that card in a sec. This is the suit actually that stumps me the most because honestly I just don't know what to make of this card. Make of these cards, because a lot of the times the symbolism are really sort of like character center, like, and then I don't really know who these characters are. They just they just don't connect with me. But yeah, Suit of Swords is one of the suits that I have the most problem with. So you can kind of take a look and let me know what you think. Let me know if you can make any sense of it, because I can't. And for me, this deck remains a collectible because of that. Okay, and yeah, these are the court cards from the Suit of Swords. And I think I took 2 cards out because I want to show them to you later. But all the core cards are just gorgeous. Like the characters, like especially the core cards, they're just absolutely gorgeous. They just look like there's someone like they look like characters from a fairy tale for sure. You know they have a story. You know they kind of come from somewhere. You know they come from like they're part of a bigger story. But like I said, one of the issues that I had with these people is I don't know who they are. You know, it's kind of hard to make connections with, just looking at the picture or connected with the original archetype. But yeah, let me know if you saw that issue, and let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, so just quickly show you the Ace of Cups. And Ace of Cups is again a different art style. I feel like in the cups there's lots of imageries with fabric and tapestries and sewing and threads and that kind of stuff. And that's Ten of Cups. It's one of my favorite cards. Just really happy. I think this is one of the cards that nail the symbolism. Well, it's pretty relatively easy to capture, I suppose, when it comes to Ten of Cups. Just happily you're happily ever after. And these are the chords from the Suit of Cups. And yeah, I took 2 of them out. You'll see them in a second. And this is the Suit of Wands. So in Wands, the characters are more miniature. They're like more dullish. So you see like a lot of images of little girls. Yeah, so these are the court cards. That's Page of Wands. She's very interesting. She's kind of listening to a heart that's pumping on music, and there's also blood in it. It's kind of cute and kind of weird at the same time. But I feel like it's definitely more cute than weird, unlike the, what was the other deck? The really creepy Alice in Wonderland Nicolitas? Sicily? Cocoli? I forgot. Yeah, that deck. But yeah, this deck is definitely more fairy tale and less nightmarish. And speaking of fairy tale, it does have a bit of Alice in Wonderland references too, but not as much as the other decks I've seen. Okay, so this is the Suit of Pentacles, and this is one of my favorite suit. I feel like this is the best suit out of the whole deck. It's very, very well done. I really love the symbolism in here. I like the sort of the cute, sweet rendition of the earthy energies of this Ace of the Pentacles. As you can see, by earthy, I mean cupcakes, and of course, cupcakes are tangible, physical rewards or sources that we can always tap into, right? And in a Suit of Pentacles, because the element is earth, you see lots of animal characters. They're really, really cute. And this is the I think this is the one I was talking about, the one with the Asian influence. It has like a picture of a Chinese New Year, and that's the lion dance, and that's like super, super cute. And yeah, so here's like the rest of the deck, and that's the court cards from the Suit of Pentacles. Okay, so just gonna fill the screen with it. Voila, so I hope you enjoyed the artwork, and I'm gonna be talking about the symbolism in a sec, and also show you some of my favorite cards. Alright, so yeah, symbolism wise, as I mentioned before, I feel like it's a pendulum. It's always swinging between like WTF and, oh, this is really interesting, this really works, this is such a brand new perspective. And Honestly, I feel like the pendulum swings more towards the WTF side because some cards I just don't know what to do with them. So for example, that is the Ace of Swords. And I tried to, break down the symbols. I tried to really tap into the symbolism, but it's just not working for me. When it comes to the Suit of Swords, it's about communication, it's about truth. So I suppose the girl is sort of displaying that lollipop that she's eating, and the lollipop is also a target. So maybe that's saying that the words that she's saying, or the words that sort of she chooses to display, is right on target. But at the same time, I don't really know how to make of her clothes or the other things that she's wearing. There's I think that's the feminine symbol right there. I don't know what the proper name is, and she's also wearing something very revealing compared to like the other characters in the series. I just don't really know how to place her. Like I don't know what her story is, because now I'm going to the Two of Swords. So this one kind of makes more sense, and I thought it's one of the more interesting depictions of Two of Swords. So you see like the sort of the black hair headgear reminds me of what a nun would wear. So it's kind of like a piece of religious clothing. It's supposed to be very modest, it's supposed to cover you up. But then if you look at her clothes, I don't know if that's just more like just white clothes, or I don't know if she's actually bearing her breast. So if that's the case, if she's bearing her breast, that would kind of make sense, because she's kind of torn between two ideas. Like one, that's modesty, and chastity, I guess. She's covering herself up, but at the same time, she's also revealing herself. So there's this sort of dilemma going on. There's this indecision going on. So I thought that kind of works. But yeah, the rest of the Suit of Swords is just really weird. And some of the cards from the Suit of Cups is also very, very strange. For example, this is the Six of Cups. And it has no symbolic ping, or it doesn't give me any symbolic messages on the typical Six of Cups, right? Nostalgia, or childhood memories, or kindness, or being very sweet. It shows that this girl character with wings and holding a ginormous pair of scissors. I thought that if it's Four of Cups, it might make sense, or maybe Eight of Cups, because that's sort of about transitions, right? Maybe you cut away your emotional ties, you cut away the old stuff to embrace the new. But honestly, I don't know what this card is trying to say. And another one with a WTF symbol is Eight of Wands. I don't know what that is. She's making some kind of like a witch's brew in the pumpkin, or in some kind of vegetable, or fruit, and there's like a sign there that says Eight of Wands, and there's like a spider web. I don't really know if this conveys any sense of speed or momentum or energy. It's just a girl cooking, making some stew. So like I don't really get it. Like maybe you guys can take a look and tell me what you think, because honestly, I just cannot relate to this card again. I don't know what this card is trying to tell me. I don't know what that character is trying to tell me. So this is why I really have trouble with this deck, is the symbolism is just really, really, really weird. Alright, so now I want to show you some of my favorite cards from this deck. So one of the cards that immediately stood out to me when I first looked through this deck was the Ten of Swords. So despite my issues with the Ten of Swords, despite my issues with the Suit of Swords, Ten of Swords is absolutely amazing. This is one of the most gorgeous, amazing, creepy, intense Ten of Swords that I've ever seen. And you kind of see this this girl character, and she's half human, and the other half of her is sort of morphing into something wonderful and creepy and nightmaresque and grotesque at the same time. So you see, I'll hold it a bit closer. So let me just focus the camera. So you see that's a skeleton, and it's possibly her skeleton arm, and you see lotuses coming off her body. I mean, I just absolutely love the contrast, because I feel like that's kind of saying Ten of Swords represents destruction. It represents the bare bones of things, like nothing is left. But at the same time, lotus represents life and spirituality, grace, and beauty. So it's kind of like those two things are off. Oops, knocked the cam. I feel like those two things are often, they can go hand in hand together, because often it's in those moments of absolute despair or destruction that we find the strength to sort of become more spiritually evolved and tap into our inner reserves, and kind of just like express our inner grace in face of chaos and in face of challenge. So I really, really, really love this card. And my next favorite card is, of course, I always looked at the card Temperance because Temperance is my favorite major arcana card, so of course this deck is no exception. So when it comes to Temperance, what I really love about Temperance is that it's so bright and sunny. You know, when I first looked at it, I almost thought it was the sun card because it's so bright and orangey and really, really vibrant, because usually Temperance is more, has like really soothing colors, right? It's usually this angel pouring water with these 2 cups, and it's usually blue and usually like turquoise or something, but this card is very warm, lots of warm colors, and I like how connected to life and how connected to earth it is, because I feel like when it comes to Temperance, it's, you know, there's usually this ethereal feeling. It's about, well, at least for me, it's usually about like the conceptual reckoning of like staying in the now, you know, kind of balancing your reality. Don't get trapped in the past, but don't get trapped in the future as well. So I really like the choice of color here because it really reminds me, like, it really ties into health for me, and health is definitely something that helps you stay in the now, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you know, your body is just, you're just basically a zombie, right? If you don't sleep well, exercise well, and take care of yourself well, then you can't really fully be present in this physical lifetime because you're not taking care of yourself physically. So I really, really like that choice of color, and I really like how vibrant it is. I'll hold it a little bit closer just to show you, and let me focus the camera. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I just love all the patterns at the back and that sun rising, and it's just amazing. Ha ha ha. Alright, so I was actually going to do this earlier, but I forgot to show you some of my favorite core cards and just some of the favorite characters, really well done characters in this deck. So, I keep saying that word, but it's just gorgeous. But at the same time, they're very mysterious and they're very moody. I keep saying this over and over, but it just, you know, just the same thing. I really don't know what they're trying to say to me. They're just obviously very well dressed. They're dressed to impress, but I don't know what they're trying to say. So I just kind of look at them and I enjoy them and I enjoy their presence, and you know, maybe they don't want to tell me anything. So I just kind of sit there and stare at them, admire them, and maybe someday they will at last speak to me, but who knows. Alright, and the last part, one of my absolute favorite things from this deck is the queens are so well done, the queens from the court cards. So let me just quickly show you. That is the Queen of Swords, and that is the Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, and then Queen of Pentacles. They're absolutely gorgeous, like just jaw drop, like so sensual, so queen-like or queenly. Oh, that's a terrible adjective. I'm totally feeling them with my language here, but I just love them. They're one of the most like well done queens I've ever seen, and like just out of all my deck collections, and I've collected quite a few. And and maybe compared to some of the other collectors I know, I'm kind of just like scraping the surface here, but these are honestly one of like the most really well done queen cards like ever. And I really love the Queen of Swords. I thought they totally nailed it. You know, it's Queen of Swords. There's that really sharp, really like, oh, I don't give a crap about what you say. You know, like I speak my truth. I don't give a crap what you say type of vibe, and it just very like. You know, she's just like quietly confident, and I just love the spider webs because spiders are associated with storytelling, and Queen of Swords is obviously one who's very talented with language, so I absolutely love this card and love the color and love the dress she's wearing. And oh my god, Queen of Cups, just look at that expression, you know, she's just closing her eyes, looking inward, and that's just totally her. Like, I cannot imagine another Queen of Cups. But she is like one of the younger queens, you know, featured in a tarot deck, and I also just love her hoodie. Like, I'm a hoodie person, and that hoodie is just amazing, and I need to have it. And Queen of Wands. Ugh, I just love that hair. And also just love that dress she's wearing. I think it just shows how sort of extroverted and playful she is, but she's also a queen. You know, she's also very introspective. And just love that lotus flower. Just, you know, adds a lot of beauty and dimension to her character. And that's Queen of Pentacles. I think she's playful in a different way. Let me just focus the camera for a bit. She's playful in a different way, and then she's just, you know, like, I think that just shows how much she enjoys life and the luxuries of life, and how she's just fully present on Earth, and then she likes to pamper herself, likes to pamper others, and I just really, really love this character. So overall, as a verdict, I feel like this deck is mostly good for a collectible. It's very pretty, it's very gorgeous, the artwork is just amazing, there's lots of interesting details to look at, and I feel like each time you look at the card you discover something new because there's just so many different details in there. And I feel like some of the symbols are interpreted in a really fresh way, and just the whole European and Asian fusion thing is just really, really nice. And yes, but like I said, when it comes to actually using these cards to do readings or interpreting the symbols, they just don't really work for me, because some symbols they just kind of don't function. They just kind of jam my intuitive machine, and then I just kind of get stuck there and I try to channel it, but they won't speak to me, and I'm just like, come on, help me out here. But yeah, they don't really listen to you. They're kind of stubborn like that. They kind of just show themselves, they kind of show up, but they don't really communicate. So that's kind of my feeling. They're just sort of like always behind this mysterious veil, and then you could sort of see them, but you don't really know what they're trying to convey. So yeah, that's my verdict. It's awesome collectible, but reading wise, not so practical. But yeah, let me know what you think. Maybe the symbols speak to you more than it does to me, and let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you think about the Suit of Swords. But yeah, otherwise this has been the Story Tarot, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be doing more tarot reviews later in the future. I'll probably be doing like I'll probably be showing you some of my favorite decks, and also maybe my top 5 fantasy themed deck, and maybe my Oracle decks too. Maybe I'll even walk you through my entire collection, but that's gonna be a very long video. I have like 50 plus decks, but I know that's not a really sizable collection compared to some of the real collectors out there. But yeah, anywho, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it again, and meanwhile, be the hero of your own story. I will see you in the next video. Laters!